Lesson 7-4, Circles and Circumference, and in this lesson you learn to find the circumference of circles. When are you ever going to use this? Knowing how to find the circumference of a circle can help you determine the amount of fencing needed to surround a circular swimming pool. Okay? So the first African-American woman to win an Olympic gold medal was Alice Coachman. She received the gold medal for the high jump in 1948. An Olympic medal is a model of a circle. So let's define what a circle is. A circle is a set of points in a plane, all of which are the same distance from a fixed point in the plane called the center. Okay, so when you have a circle, again, it is a set of set points in a plane. Okay, and all of which are the same distance from the fixed point in the plane called the center. So let's say this is our circle. Okay, let's make our own circle first before we go to our illustration here. So if I create this circle right here, okay, and that's my circle, it says here it is a set of points in a plane, all of which are the same distance from the fixed point in the plane called the center. And if that is my center, all of these points that lie on this line will have the same distance, okay, will have the same distance from the center. That's what it means. Okay, so the distance from the center to any point on the circle is called the radius. Okay, so if we go to our illustration here, if this is our center right here, okay, it says here the distance from the center to any point of the circle. So that means the distance from the center, any point on the circle, is called the radius, and that's the radius right here. This is also considered to be the radius, and this is also the radius. Okay, sorry, it's not that straight. The radius, and so on and so forth. Those are all considered to be radii of our circle. Okay? The distance across the circle through which the center is called the diameter of our circle. So when we find the distance across passing through our center, that's called the diameter. So this is the diameter right there. This can be also considered to be the diameter, sorry. Undo that thing. Okay. This is also the diameter. If I draw a straight line across like this one, let's imagine that's a straight line. Okay, that is also the diameter. You know what? I can draw a better straight line than that. Let me do that for now. Let's do that. Okay. Let's color it blue. Okay. So let's say from there, that point, to that point is the diameter of a circle. From that point, okay, from that point to that point is the diameter. That point to that point, for as long as it crosses the center, that is the diameter of our circle. Okay, consider another definition. And by the way, radius is designated as lowercase r. Diameter is designated as lowercase d. So the diameter of a circle is twice the length of the radius. So when you talk about the diameter of our circle, the diameter of our circle is equal to twice the length of our radius. The diameter equals 2r. Okay? And then finally, the circumference of, or capital C, is the distance around the circle. So if you measure the distance around the circle, that is called the circumference. Circumference or diameter are related in a very special way. Okay? Now, what do we mean by this? It simply means this. Now, if I get any type of circular object, okay, you can do this at home, any type of circular object, small or big one, a really small one, and a medium one, if I get all these circles and I measure the distance around the circle, okay, so let's say I measure the distance around the circle, and that is our circumference. Okay, so that is our circumference. I measure the distance, and I get the diameter. Let me go back to my line here. Okay, there's my diameter. Okay, and if I get my circumference divided by my diameter, the value, okay, so if I get my circumference and I divide it by my diameter, This is in any type of circle, not just the big one. If I do that with all these circles, I will end up with a quotient of approximately, let me do that, it's not equal to, it's approximately, okay, close to 3.14. Okay, so if I get that in any perfect circle, okay, and divide it by the diameter of my circle, okay, every single time you'll end up with a value of 3.14. Okay, and this 3.14, okay, in math is considered to be called pi. Okay, and that's where pi comes from. Actually, the more probably precise value of pi would be 3.14159 dot dot dot. That means it continues on forever. It does not repeat and it does not terminate, and that is the approximate value of pi. Okay, so that is a special relationship between the circumference of the circle and the diameter of a circle. If you also notice, I can write the circumference divided by diameter as c over d, okay, and which is equal to pi. Okay, and if I want to find the diameter of my circle, okay, given that I have circumference in pi, if I manipulate this equation, I will end up with, okay, circumference equals pi d. So if I if I want to find my circumference that given my diameter, I would simply have to multiply pi d, or diameter times my pi would give me my circumference. Okay, which brings us to our formula for an equation of a circle. So what we notice that the formula for our circle would be pi d, as was explained. And if you also notice, okay, if you remember that diameter is equal to 2r, or twice the radius, if I substitute 2r with my diameter, okay, the formula would be 2 times circumference now, therefore would be, okay, pi times 2r. Or if I rewrite this, it becomes 2 pi r. Okay, so these are the two formulas that you need to memorize for circumference. Circumference equals pi d, or circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, we just need to find out what is given. If diameter is given, use this formula. If the radius is given, use this formula. Okay, and when you talk about our pi, pi is usually approximated to be the value of, okay, 3.14, or the fraction 22 over 7. Remember though, okay, 3.14 and 22 over 7 are not, okay, pi. They are just approximate values. So approximations for pi. Okay, remember, there's a thing in math called irrational number. 3.14 and 22 over 7 are rational numbers, where pi is an irrational number. We'll learn that soon enough. So right now, that's all you need to remember, that 3.14 and 22 over 7 are approximations for pi. Now, when do we use this? When you are given a decimal for radius or diameter, you use 3.14. When you're given a fraction or a mixed number for radius or diameter, you use 22 over 7. Okay? So find the circumference of a circle in example 1 with a diameter of 1.5 feet. So in 1.5 feet, you're given the diameter which is equal to, you're given a diameter which is a mixed number, okay? Meaning that we are going to use 22 over 7, okay, as an approximate value for pi. So let's find out how to solve this. Let's go back. Since we're given the diameter, the formula that we are going to use will be pi d, okay? And we know that the approximate value for pi would be 22 over 7 multiplied by a diameter, which is 1.5. We simply substitute the values for pi and d, okay? And then we follow what we learned. We convert our mixed number into an improper fraction. 22 over 7 times 3 halves. Okay, and we simply multiply across, or simplify or find the GCF of 22 and 2, which is 2. So 22 divided by 2 would be 11, and 2 divided by 2 would be 1. Okay, and multiply our numerators and denominators, which will give us 33 over 7, or 4 and 5/7. So the circumference of our circle is 4 and 5/7 feet. Okay, let me emphasize that 4 and 5/7 is an approximate circumference of our circle. Okay, why is it always an approximate value? Because pi, okay, we can never find the exact value for pi. Okay, because it is a decimal that never repeats and never terminates. Let's take a look at example number 2. The first Ferris wheel was built for the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. It had a radius of 125 feet and weighed 1,200 tons and held about 2,100 people. For 50 cents, fairgoers could find the Ferris wheel for 20 minutes. How far did the passengers travel for each revolution? So when you talk about how far the passengers traveled for each revolution, it's asking how far, okay, or what is the distance around the Ferris wheel, and the distance around the Ferris wheel is our circumference. So in this case, okay, we need to find the circumference of the Ferris wheel, and the radius of the Ferris wheel is 125 feet. And since this is a whole number, the pi value that we are going to use will be 3.14, approximate value. And since we're given the radius, we use the formula 2 pi r. So we multiply 2 by the approximate value of pi, which is 3.14, multiplied by 125, replacing the value of pi with 3.14 and r with 125. Okay, using a calculator, we end up with 785. So the passengers traveled about 785 on each revolution. Okay? And the secret word for this particular lesson would be Lakers. Secret word would be Lakers for this lesson. Okay? And that's it. Thank you for watching.